Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Yang Amat Berbahagia, Professor Datin Paduka Dr. Samsina Matsidin, Madam Jenny Maria Griselius, Dean of Tun Ahmad Sarji School of Government and Public Services, Mr. Muhammad Ashraf Samsudin, Director of Marketing and Sales Department, distinguished guests, members of several NGOs, to name a few: Women's Aid Organization, Malaysian Care, El Shaddai Center, Sdn Bhd, Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat, Malaysian Association of Social Workers, and his team. Students as well from two schools, convent, and also one more school. She shout out your name? Yes, okay. All right. So, students and virtual participants in My Uniraza channel, welcome to Uniraza and thank you all for gracing this momentous occasion, the new program launching ceremony and UR social work sharing session. Today, we have the immense pleasure of having with us the distinguished presence of Yang Ahmad Berbahagia, Professor Datin Paduka, Dr. Samsina Matsidin, the Vice Chancellor of University Tun Abdul Razak. Let's give her a round of applause for honoring us with her presence and for officially inaugurating the new program under Tun Ahmad Sarji School of Government and Public Services faculty. Now, let's get this celebration started. But before we do, let us take a moment to acknowledge and congratulate all the hardworking individuals who have poured their hearts and souls into preparing this incredible new program. It's their dedication and passion that has brought us all together here today. Speaking of today, let me tell you what's it all about. Today we gather to shed light on the exciting diploma program in social work. This program is designed to equip individuals with the foundational knowledge and skills necessary to embark on a rewarding career in the field of social work. But it's not just about textbooks and lectures. No, these programs offer so much more. They provide a comprehensive curriculum that seamlessly blends theoretical understanding with practical learning, preparing students to make a real difference in people's lives. Okay, enough with the formalities. It's my absolute pleasure to invite to the stage a remarkable woman, Madam Jenny Maria Griselius, the esteemed Dean of the Tun Ahmad Sarji School of Government and Public Services. Let's give her a thunderous applause as she comes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Respected NGO and civil society members, Unirasak staff and faculty members, parents and students. As Dean of Tun Ahmad Sarji School of Government and Public Services, it's with great pride and honor that I would like to announce the launch of our new program, Diploma in Social Work. Before I continue, let me first introduce the school. Tun Ahmad Sarji School of Government and Public Services, or TAS-GPS as we are also known. I hope that in my introduction of the school, it will also be clear why we are introducing a diploma in social work in a school of government. This is a question that I'm very used to answering because I get it all the time about our economics program, why we offer economics in a school of government. Our school was originally called Tun Abdul Razak School of Government, but we were recently renamed in the honor of our late Chancellor, Tun Ahmad Sarji, a great civil servant, a dedicated man to Malaysia and policy making in Malaysia. Having shared the names of these two great men, we have a lot to live up to. And we try to live up to their legacies by making nation building the central mission of our school. So for those of you who are new to the term nation building is the process of creating stability and prosperity in a country through the joint effort of and peoples. In TAS GPS, our undergraduate programs, our degree programs, quite easily fit into the nation building mission. We have a Bachelor of Art in Public Policy, we have a Bachelor of Art in Public Management, and even our Bachelor in Economics. Because these programs promote a very easily recognizable part of nation building. The development of strong and durable institutions, economic development, and social integration. And that's also the answer to why School of Government has an economics program, for those who are still wondering. So what about the diploma in social work? Where does this fit into our nation building mission? And the answer for me lies in an often forgotten part of nation building. By focusing on great leaders, we tend to think of nation building as top-down processes led by government officials. But that goes against the very definition that I used in the beginning. Nation building is the joint process of governments and peoples. So as someone with a social policy background, I am acutely aware that successful nation building rests on those who work to support and strengthen society from the bottom up. Those working with the most vulnerable in our societies. While social workers are not the only members of our societies doing this job, nevertheless, it's one of the most important aspects of this bottom-up nation-building process. So in short, this is my answer to why TAS GPS is the right home for the diploma in social work. Social work is nation building. Therefore, today we embark on a new journey that will empower aspiring individuals like yourselves to become nation builders and shape a more compassionate and inclusive society by making significant difference in the lives of others. In designing this diploma program, we aim to equip you with the necessary social work knowledge, skills, and values to combat our time's complex challenges. This program will expose you to a comprehensive curriculum that blends theoretical knowledge with practical and industry-related relevant skills. Learning will be what we call hybrid learning, blending online components with using our award-winning Eurox platform with effective face-to-face class interactions. This will give students a solid foundation to become effective change makers. I want to express my gratitude to the dedicated Unirasa members, and I would like to give a special mention to Puan Liana Nasli, who was the one that did most of the heavy lifting early on for this program. Who worked tirelessly to make this diploma program a meticulously crafted program that reflects our society's evolving and pressing needs. Their commitment to your success is unwavering, and I do not doubt that your journey here would be transformative with them as your educators. To our prospective social work students, your decision to choose this journey will be profoundly rewarding. Your genuine desire to uplift communities advocate for justice, and empower individuals will lead you to fulfilling lives in the future. As you embark on this educational venture, remember that learning extends beyond these walls. Engage with the community, listen to their stories, and let their experience inform your practice. In other words, be nation builders. In closing, launching this diploma in social work adds a new chapter of nation building to our school. It gives us yet another avenue to promote our shared values and belief in a strong, united Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Jen, for the warm welcoming address. So, who knew that doing a diploma in social work could become you building a nation builders? So, and now, ladies and gentlemen, let's prepare ourselves as we hear from not just an accomplished academic and leader, but also a beacon of wisdom and guidance for all of us. Her presence here today truly amplifies the significance of this occasion, and we are honored to have her share her insights with us. So, without further ado, please join me in giving a thunderous applause to hear the enlightening words of Yang Amat Berbahagia Professor Datin Paduka Dr. Samsinar Matsidin, our extraordinary Vice Chancellor. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Madam Nancy, for your very kind words. I don't know in what sense I'm extraordinary, but thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Ms. Jenny Maria Griselius, Dean of Tun Ahmad Saji School of Government and Public Services, Mr. Muhammad Ashraf Samsudin, Director Marketing and Sales Department, Uniraza, our guests from several NGOs this afternoon, some other members of the university that I see here, deans. Thank you for being here and sharing this very important moment. I'd like to welcome all of you to this special occasion as we gather here to celebrate the launch of our new program, Diploma in Social Work. Again, the launch of our new program, the Diploma in Social Work. I'm very happy. I'm very happy and very honored to see this room full of very enthusiastic faces. Salam saya pada anak-anak di belakang from Convent Sentul, dan daripada Segambut Jaya. Terima kasih datang ke Uniraza. Dan terima kasih juga ada NGOs. I'm very honored that we have guests who want to share with us in our launching of our new program, Diploma in Social Work. Okay. So today, Uniraza is making a step forward in our commitment to fostering social change and positively impacting the lives of individuals and communities. Launching the Diploma in Social Work is a testament of our belief in the power of education to bring about meaningful transformation. So adik-adik, join us in this social transformation for us to become a better nation. Tadi Jenny kata we are in nation building. So Uniraza is actually part of this nation building role of getting Malaysia to be a better country. Nama kami pun University Tun Razak. As you know, Tun Razak is our second Prime Minister who is also called Bapa Pembangunan. Kan? Yeah? So that's why kita juga bawa that aspirasi daripada Allahyarham Tun Razak. Okay? Social work is a very noble profession that has a profound influence in society. It is crucial in addressing social inequalities, advocating for social justice, and empowering marginalized and vulnerable populations. This program, as Dean Jenny has mentioned, has been designed with great care and consideration to equip students with the knowledge, skills, and values necessary to make them having a meaningful impact in the lives of others. It is also to provide a clear articulation of social work roles and the related knowledge and skills required to deliver interventions effectively. In this program, students would have the opportunity to be working in a very direct manner with those people who are involved in social work in terms of the fieldwork, engagements, and working with local communities. Kita nak ya anak-anak semua go through this. If you are in this program, you are not just going to be in classrooms, but you are also going to join the social workers to directly go and work with those people in need. That's what we aspire from our program. It's not just from the lecturers, but also directly from those involved in social work. Our students would also have got the opportunity to collaborate with local organizations, work on community projects, and make a tangible difference in the lives of those they serve. Don't worry, graduates of this program, Diploma in Social Work from Uniraza, will be prepared to work in many places, such as social welfare officer, family support social worker, program officer, youth worker, banyak lagi. Yeah? And you can work with the government, with the NGOs, and even in private organizations. So the career opportunities for graduates of this program is enormous. So this program is good for you, and inshallah the career opportunities are also very promising. So I'm encouraging kalau ada siapa kawan-kawan yang nak mencari diploma level courses, please consider this new program that we are launching today. And at the same time, I was also informed that the overall employment of social workers is projected to grow by an impressive 12% from 2020 to 2030. So it's very good, yeah. And this is also making us feel that our commitment to providing relevant and future-oriented education is going to be fruitful. Okay. And Mampu has also come up with the findings of a study that they had done, where they found out in Malaysia, the ratio of social worker to the population is so high. Satu social worker for 8,500 people. Seorang social worker, dia serving 8,000 orang. So we need a lot more. If you compare with other countries, there are a lot lower. For example, I have here in United States, the ratio is one social worker kepada 490 orang. Malaysia, one social worker 8,000 orang. So kita nak negara kita maju, not just in the economic perspective, but very important also in the social perspective. Our people tidak ada banyak masalah-masalah. Kalau ada masalah pun ada orang yang boleh membantu. So this program, we hope to be able to do that. Okay. And another important aspect in Malaysia, the Social Work Profession Bill. Ini adalah rangka undang-undang has reached its final stages of approval. At any time, according to the minister, that is to be finalized. And once passed, this bill will bring about a pivotal shift in social work practice. Here, it will mandate that all social workers be qualified and possess the necessary credentials before they can serve in their roles. So kalau dulu kita rasa everybody interested can join, now you have to have the necessary qualifications, and this is where Uniraza will come in. Okay. I want to express my gratitude to the members of the school, both for our task GPS and also staff for the creation of this curriculum, staff and industry partners who took part and worked tirelessly to bring this program to where it is now today. And this is actually very important and instrumental in shaping the curriculum and ensuring its relevance to the ever-evolving needs of our society. Lastly, my heartfelt congratulations to all of you, semua yang ada kat sini, Tania. Tania, Shabas and Tania, that we are here today to launch this program, and I'm sure lepas ni our deans and our different parts of our university, departments of our universities will work very hard. Include me in, tolong masukkan juga saya. Saya juga nak work hard to make this program a successful one because I want to be part of the nation building. I hope that this moment is just a starting of what we're going to go through in our journey of success. May this endeavor be a stepping stone towards the future where compassion, justice, and equality prevails. With the skills and values instilled in our graduates, I do not doubt that they will become change makers who will leave a mark on the lives of countless individuals. Thank you, and may this program serve as a catalyst for global solidarity and transformative social change. With that, saya ucapkan selamat hari raya kepada semua. Semoga usaha-usaha ini diberkati dan semoga kita semua berjaya dunia dan akhirat.
And that is why you are the extraordinary Vice Chancellor. Look at the amount of support. Okay, thank you so much. Yang amat berbahagia Professor Datin Paduka, Dr. Samsina Mat Sidin for the delightful welcoming speech. Now, students, I hope you were paying close attention to her speech because I'm going to ask you some questions. And if you answer it correctly, I'll give you a token, okay? Some gifts. Okay, are you ready for the first question? And if you have the answer, please raise your hand. Okay, boleh? All right, so the most important question. What program is being launched today? Okay, yeah.
Social work. Diploma in social work.
the easiest question, okay? Now, what can you work as if you are equipped with diploma in social work? Name me one would do, but please put your hands up. What can you work as? What will be your career opportunities? What can you work as? Anda boleh kerja sebagai apa? Okay.
Community development officer. First, okay. Huh? National builder. What community service officer, right? Yeah.
The next question. What is, okay, ni for those who really listen carefully and who like maths, suka maths. What is the projected employment rate of a social worker in the coming few years? What is the projected employment rate of a social worker in the coming few years? Multiple choice, thank you, Prof. Ben. Okay, A, 8%, B, 10%, C, 12%, D, 50%.
C, 12%.
Very good. One last question, also mathematics. Yeah? What is the ratio of a social worker to Malaysians in Malaysia? That means one social worker to how many Malaysians? Wow. Can we give a chance to that lady? What is the ratio of a social worker to one Malaysian? One social worker to how many Malaysian?
1 to 8,500.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know you guys were listening to the speech now. Okay, now we will start the highlight of today's event. The gimmick video launching of our new program, Diploma in Social Work. I would like to invite Yang Amat Berbahagia Professor Datin Paduka Dr. Samsina Matside, accompanied by Madam Jenny Maria Griselius, to launch of the new program, Diploma in Social Work. 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you Yang Amat Berbahagia Bermasa Datin Paduka Dr. Samsinar for the launching of the ceremony accompanied by Madam Jenny. Please have your seats. Thank you. Thank you so much, students, for counting with me. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier just now, Madam Jenny was talking about hybrid learning and blended learning. So in this video, we would like to present you something about it and how we use blended learning in our diploma in social work.
In a world where education is evolving, a new era of learning has emerged. With Unalazak Innovative Learning Management System, social work students has access for a seamless integration of online and in-person education or blended learning. Learning social work at Unalazak, social work students have the power to unlock knowledge anytime, anywhere, through its intuitive and user-friendly learning management system. Social work students and lecturers will be engulfed in a dynamic learning environment where accessibility and interactivity is optimized. Together, Unalazak is committed to ensure social work students graduate with a solid foundation in core competencies and exposure to vast ground experiences in various fields of social work through blended learning. Inside the traditional classroom, social work student will have enhanced learning experience, offering interactive tools and collaborative features to complement the effectiveness of face-to-face class.
Okay, for your information, those are not paid actors, those are real students, kan Bodini? Yeah, those are real students who are studying here. And in all of our videos from Unirasa, we use real students, real lecturers. So you can see the location-wise, how far do you think KLCC is from here? Berapa jauh KLCC dari sini? Cuba teka. Minutes, berapa minit? Yes, about 10 minit. Okay, gitu. Okay. Okay. So for your information, at Uniraza we offer flexible and hybrid learning. So what does it mean? It means that students can study anywhere, virtually anywhere, everywhere, including public parks, hipster cafes, and malls. Uh, Easy access to public transportation. The LRT and MRT is just next to us, 3 minute walk. Okay, so the nearest LRT is Ampang Park LRT. The nearest MRT, I'm not sure what is that. Oh, Ampang Park. Oh, okay. Oh, students know. Okay, so our online learning management platform, which is called UROX, is accessible to all students to study at anywhere. They can also come to campus for group discussion. It doesn't mean that we don't want you to come to campus. Please do come, and because you need to meet your friends, you need to meet your classmates and study in a group as well. Okay, so I hope you now know what our diploma in social work is. So let's get ready to dive into the next part of our agenda. A captivating and thought-provoking social work sharing session. This session is designed to give you a deeper understanding of what social work truly entails in both community and organization. Oh my gosh. Organizational setting. It's an opportunity to broaden your perspective and gain invaluable insights into the transformative power of social work. But wait, there's more. We have an extraordinary guest joining us today, someone whose expertise and experience in the field of social work are truly exceptional. We are truly privileged to have the remarkable Miss Jean Tan, Services Outreach and Psychosocial Coordinator from the esteemed Women's Aid Organization, WAO. Ms. Jean Tan is not just a registered clinic psychologist, but also a seasoned social worker who has dedicated her life to working with vulnerable communities and individuals. Her commitment to empowering those affected by trauma and her unwavering advocacy for marginalized groups have made her a true force of change. Today, Ms. Jean Tan will take us on a journey as she shares her invaluable insights and experience, focusing specifically on social work practice, working with domestic abuse cases. So let's give a warm and enthusiastic welcome to Ms. Jean Tan and get ready to expand your horizon and embark on a learning experience. Ms. Jean Tan, the stage is yours.
Hi. Is this clear? Is this okay? All right. Thank you very much for the really warm introduction. and for the really warm welcome I've had today, speaking with a lot of very dedicated staff members from UniRaza. And I am very, very privileged to be representing Women's Day organization, to be speaking to prospective social work students today about social work and the application of it in real life. Okay, so I am currently with Women's Aid organizations as a services outreach coordinator, but I was a social worker on and off for about 2 years. So my involvement with Women's Aid organization actually started after I got out of SPM when I was about 18 or 19 years old. And I got an email from my university lecturer to ask if any of us are interested to volunteer in Women's Aid organization. So I was really young. I know nothing about domestic violence at that point of time. I joined the volunteer training, and 8 years later, I am still here. And that's how fulfilling social work or being a humanitarian worker in general has been for me. And I hope it will touch, the lives of some of you to be able to share the same passion as me as well. Before I begin, I'll just like to give a quick introduction on Women's Aid organization and why we think that without NGOs, there is so little work we can do to improve the lives of marginalized, of vulnerable communities, right, to help people. So Women's Aid organization is a non-profit organization that primarily helps survivors or victims of gender-based violence. To put it in easier words, we help any women or children that has gone through violent episodes. So we've heard before, maybe if not your personal experience, but maybe your friends and family, probably you've heard before somebody being beaten up at home or somebody's being abused by their father or their mother, right? And where do they go? Where do you think they go? Police station or hospital, but these are very scary words. If something were to happen to you, like maybe you just fall down to the bike and I say, let's go to hospital right now, would that scare you? And we are not even being abused, you see? So imagine a survivor or someone who's gone through trauma and they are scared, they are in a very fearful environment, and then you say, just go to hospital, just file a police report. That's scary. And most of them are not able to do it, at least not alone. So organizations like Women's Aid organization is here to fill that gap. We are here to give them the emotional support. We have a group of very dedicated social workers available to follow them to the police station or the hospital and accompany them throughout the entire process. Women's Aid organization is one of the largest domestic violence service provider in Malaysia, okay? So this means that we don't just accompany you to the police station or hospital, we actually have a shelter where the survivors can stay, just in case they don't feel safe to stay at home. And this applies to women and children. So if you have a place like this, or you have workers who are able to accompany you to do the things that will keep you safe, you will feel much more secure and much more comfortable to leave the very abusive and unsafe environment. So in WAO, besides just doing the services work, we actually work with the government to change the law. Now, how many of you have heard about the new laws being passed, like anti-stalking law or sexual harassment law, or extending the maternity leave, the paternity leave? I think the younger students may not be able to relate to that, but when you grow older, you need these laws to protect you, and non-profit organizations like WAO are there to help you do that. There are the reasons why these anti-violent laws are in place, because they speak for the survivors. And we need you to help speak for the survivors who sometimes are too scared to speak for themselves. Last but not least, we also do a lot of public education initiatives. Maybe some of you come from schools, or some of you come from apartments or communities where WAO has turun padang before, to give talks and give trainings on domestic violence and sexual harassment. So we do all of this to try to build a nation, like what Jenny has been saying so far, nation building. You build a nation to keep Malaysia a safe place for women and girls. So in WAO, we have several offices. We have a main office, our shelter where our survivors stay. We have a childcare center where we take care of the children over there. And we have a services center where most of the admin work of social workers would be going. So you don't just go out there every day to do social work, but you also get to work with colleagues, you work with the government, you work with multiple agencies to try to fight for the country to be a better place for women and girls. And where do your services fall? So WAO is quite big. Over the past few years, we have grown to like maybe 10 people. When I joined WAO, we were just a small team of 10 to 20 people. But right now, perhaps we have like 50 to 60 people. So that's why I want to show you it's really true. The employment rate increasing for social work or humanitarian workers in Malaysia is growing. Organizations are constantly looking for people so then they can help more people. And we have funders, we have partnerships with government or with corporates who are willing to help us help more people. So when I first joined WAO, we only have 1 or 2 departments, but look at this right now. If you're doing social work, you will fall under the services department because you're the one providing services to the survivors. So you could be a social worker or you could work in the advocacy department where you speak with government to change the law, or you could work in the training department, the capacity building department, to students, or you talk to members of the public about the importance of social work and how to end abuse and violence. So the opportunities for you is really quite endless. You don't just need to do social work, but you can do so many different jobs within the humanitarian field. Okay, I'm going to slowly move forward to discussing about survivors and what does a social worker do to help survivors in WAO. So when a survivor wants to reach out, okay, so let's try to imagine someone has just gotten abuse in a family, okay? So what can they do? They can either call the hotline, they can message us, or they can be referred by third-party agencies. When they come to WAO, our social workers will receive the case, and then they will discuss with the survivor what they can do, what they want to do to keep safe, and what they need for now that we can provide them with, okay? So this is the pathway for them to reach out to WAO. It's not just by them calling, but sometimes we need to network with other people to meet the survivors ourselves as well. All right, so this is roughly the case flow. So when they come in and they are unsafe, first of all, they will head to the shelter. They'll be staying in a safe place where our social workers will be there with them to take care of them. We have people staying in the shelter to also welcome them. And then our social workers are doing the case management with them. So that's the second part over here. So social work in WAO could cover many things, which I will get to that later. But when they are being cared for by a social worker, they kind of act like the guardian or the cheerleader for our survivors. Our social workers are the ones telling the survivors like, hey, you know, you can do this. You're strong enough. You're powerful enough. Let me help you. If you don't feel strong right now, let me help you until you feel confident enough. So our social workers do that cheerleading role for survivors over there. And that's so important because that's the key for them, the survivors, to choose whether or not they want to return to the abusive situation or they want to keep going forward. If we don't have WAO, if we don't have social workers in Malaysia, if someone gets abused at home and they don't know what to do, they will most likely just stay home, or they will just find friends and family. Hopefully they will help them. But it's the chance for them to escape is so small, right? So we have non-profit organizations, we have NGOs, we have social workers, we have JKM members, all coming in to help them get safe. So that's part 2. And when they feel much better and they feel much empowered, they are away from the dangerous situation, they will then join any programs that they want to continue to be strong. So maybe they want to learn how to find a job. They want to learn how to make a small business. They want to learn how to help themselves better, how to take care of their children better. So that's the next step over there. Okay? And that you can also do with a social work degree or diploma. So this is roughly the flow which I've mentioned earlier. You call the hotline or you could meet the social workers face to face, and then after that the social workers will come manage your cases, their cases with them. So it's not just helping at the beginning, and then when they feel better, we just drop them off, we lepas tangan, there's no such thing. You help them until one day they tell you that, hey, thank you so much. I feel so much stronger now because of you. I can be on my own. Now that sense of satisfaction, helping somebody, helping a survivor, I feel it so many times and it still gets me. It's very powerful to be able to help somebody and seeing them go from a very scared person leaving the house to feeling really strong that they can move out on their own or they can find a new job on their own, right? Okay, maybe the words are a little bit too small, but I will just summarize this one. Now, this is what a social worker does. So this is where I could really show you that being a social worker requires so many skills. And I feel that all the skills you learn being in a social work diploma or degree program would be skills that you can use anywhere you go. Okay? So with the social work knowledge, you have the legal knowledge, you know the law, you know Malaysian law, and you know what to do to get help, whether from the police or whether from the hospital. You have that knowledge. But at the same time, you also need to know how to talk to people, how to help people gently. You cannot say things like, oh, you just do this, A, B, C. But you have to say it nicely, like, you can choose to do A, but if you don't feel comfortable doing A, you can do B. Otherwise, there's also C. You have to talk very nicely so the person would listen to you and would like you to help them. And then at the same time, you also need to have skills to negotiate. Negotiate with the police officers, you have to negotiate with the hospital, you have to negotiate with shelter people. So these are all very important skills. And if one day you say you don't want to be a social worker anymore, and you want to, for example, try teaching, or you want to try going to private companies, you want to try working as an admin, as a clerk somewhere, or secretary somewhere else, these are all transferable skills. These are all the skills you will even use in your daily life because now you know how to solve problems, you know how to resolve conflicts, and you know how to take care of yourself. You don't let anybody bully you anymore, okay? In regards to our survivors, so you will be helping them filing the police report. You will be accompanying them, or maybe you support them when they go to the JKM, which is our welfare department, to get any protection. You can potentially go to the hospital. You be their emotional support when they need to go to the hospital, or you help monitor the case when they are at the hospital to make sure everything is going okay. And then also, if they have to go to court for custody matters, for civil suits, or for any violent matters, they have to go to court. You are there to accompany them. You are there to support them. So as you can see, it's everything. You're being there as your support, as your guidance. So that means you must have the strong knowledge on how to support them. Otherwise, it's like the blind leading the blind. You say you don't know, and then they don't know, and then no one knows anything, and then they're just stuck there, right? So being a social worker is so important. It's not just, oh, you're just helping somebody. It's not just that. You need to have the skills as well. So this is just for me to show you as well the other agencies involved. I told you earlier, we partner with other organizations to help more survivors. But enough about that, right? So I'm telling you all the technical parts right now, but I think one of the more important things that I was being told to highlight today is to share about my experiences working as a social worker and working in a humanitarian organization, okay? So personally, obviously, it's very rewarding for me because my values in life or my goals in life is to help people. And I want to help people, not just help people, but if I were to be really specific, I want to do more good than I do harm. So this means that being a social work being a social worker or being a services provider that allows me to fulfill my goal. So that was me after SPM when I sat down with the career counselor, and then the career counselor did some tests on me, and then she said, "Oh look, you seem to like helping. Do you want to try being a doctor?" I say, "No, it's too hard." "Do you want to try being a nurse?" I say, "No, it's too boring." What do you want?" I say, "I don't know." Then she suggested to try to do psychology, and from the psychology skills, I got to know Women's Day organization, and then that became my lifetime career for now. So I really enjoy being a humanitarian organization or being a humanitarian worker, doing social work on the ground, because this makes me feel like life has meaning. I wake up every day excited to go to work. I wake up every day excited to talk to my survivors and check in with how they are doing. However, I need to be really honest that being a social worker means that there is a very steep learning curve. Because remember, I told you about how you need to have the legal knowledge, you need to know about law, and then you also need to know how to talk to people, how to negotiate with people. So all these are knowledge that you cannot just learn overnight. It takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of time, and some tears and some stress, and some very disheartening experiences when you try to help somebody, but in the end they cannot get help. So these experiences have made me learn so much in that 1 year that I was a social worker. And I feel like I've matured so much because I went from being a small girl in my family where my parents take care of me, they bring me to the hospital. Suddenly I have to bring somebody to the hospital. So that was scary for me. But that 1 year that I was a social worker, I grew so much, I gained so much confidence. And no police officers or no doctors in the hospital dare to talk down because I will stand my ground because I know the law. So that is all the learning curve you have to prepare yourself when you do this course. The second point, going out of my comfort zone, basically is me. I become confident when I learn to take care of other people. So I like taking care of people. I also like taking care of my family, my friends, my loved ones. So now being put as my job, where it's my responsibility to make sure the person I'm taking care of is safe and they feel strong, that is a different story because that means you need to think from their perspective. You need to know what they want, and it cannot be just like I think A is good, so you just do A. It cannot be like that. You have to really put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself now, what do they want and how do I help them get that? Okay? Last but not least, learning my own rights. So you know law, right? Sometimes when something bad happens to you and then you say to yourself like, oh, I'm not sure if that's right. Or I don't know if that's legal. Can I report that? So we have a lot of confusion about law sometimes, that when someone does something bad to us, we don't even know that it's illegal. But being a social worker and being in this humanitarian profession, you know your rights. You know when somebody says something, what's wrong and what's right. You know what you can report. And you know how you can report. You are not scared anymore. You know how to talk to the police. You know how to talk to the hospital staff. So that's a very, very important skills to have, that communication and confidence talking to people outside. So that's my personal insights, but professionally, of course, I wanted to add one point I didn't manage to add on the slide, is that I feel like I was really a Malaysian when I became a social worker, because I help people from all races, all ethnicities. I helped someone who lived in a flat, I helped someone who lived in a bungalow. I was really working with Malaysians in every level. And I hear their stories. And I cry with them and I celebrate with them. I have felt much more Malaysian being a social worker than all the Malaysian Day celebrations combined. So that was nothing to me. But being able to work with Malaysians and resonate and relate to the Malaysians, that was really personal. And here is me trying to tell you why you can consider being a social worker. So this is just my personal experience. I want to really highlight that. I do not speak for like other social workers at all. But personally for me, as I mentioned earlier, I like So the satisfaction I get from helping keeps me going. That's why I'm in WL for 8 years now. I'm still there. I learned how to problem solve and negotiate. When I first started off being a social worker, I was scared. I got my first call, I got my first case, and I go to my first police station. I end up feeling really scared and sad at the end of the day because I feel like, oh, this is too scary. I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say. But as I go along, I start to know how to take care of myself better and I know how to solve problems. So when I help somebody who tells me that, hey, I don't know what to do. This has happened to me and I don't know what to do right now. Instead of feeling scared and lost myself, I work through the problems with them. I draw out for them. I talk to them and then we brainstorm together. So learning how to problem solve, that's a really important skill that I use in my life as well. So right now, nothing could happen in my life that I don't know how to solve. I'm able to transfer that skills onto my personal life. Next up, I really want to highlight this. You have supportive colleagues, and that's really important because if you're a social worker, you're also meeting other social workers. And imagine this, you are coming together because you care about the community, right? And because you care about the community, you're going to meet other people who also care about the community. And then together you are kind of saving the world together. That sounds really cliche, but that's really very true. And you don't see this outside because outside, like maybe if you work private companies, you're mostly like dealing with papers, dealing with, all the laws and rules. So there's not much human touch. But when you work in a very human touch field, you're able to feel so much more every day. Some days you feel so happy, but some days you feel so heartbroken because something didn't go, the survival way. And if you have supportive colleagues, that makes the days a lot easier to go. Last but not least, this is just my personal opinion. When I'm a social worker, I'm able to understand world issues much better. I know how unfair sometimes laws and policies are towards the poor. Why some people can be so rich, they have 20 cars, but why I work with a survivor whose father couldn't even afford a motorcycle? So I'm able to see how unfair the laws and policy has affected the Malaysians. And because I see it in front of my own eyes, I see how unfair the policies in Malaysia is. I want to do better. I want to try to work harder to help them. I want to tell the poor families that I help with, like, hey, you can apply for this and you can do this, you can get this free training, you get this free money. Please do it. I want to help you. So I feel so much more passionate when I work with these survivors. And then I use these experiences that I have when I see the unfairness. I work with the government, I work with the hospitals, and I tell them, hey, this is unfair. This issue is unfair. Why you help that rich person, but you don't help this poor person? You cannot do this. You must be fair. So I become so much more passionate. I cannot stand injustice. I need to see that everyone's treated fairly. I cannot see that somebody just got discriminated in the hospital just because of the skin color or because they don't speak a certain language. I don't like that. And because I see in front of my own eyes, I see how unfair this is, I will go out of my way to try to help them, and I will try to tell this opinion to important people so they will change the law. When you work this kind of field, you see injustice every day. You want to take action, that's great. If you just want to help the survivor themselves, that's also good. But personally for me, it got me very involved in world issues. So on my free time, I read newspapers. I read a lot of news articles. I try to see what's going on out there. Who's the richest man right now and why are they rich? Is it because they are not paying certain people well? Is it because they are not taking care of the people they should be taking care of? So I got so involved in world issues and I tell my friends about it, I tell my family about it. I want to make a change. So that fire itself keeps me going. So I'm not sure. I'm hoping I'm selling this social work profession really well, but this is just my personal experience, and I want you to know that being a social worker is a very, very noble job. Not everyone can do it. I could, pay somebody a lot of money who works in a big company and ask them to try to be a social worker for one day, and I'm not even sure if they can get through it. So I hope you respect this noble profession and you consider being part of this noble profession because, as we all mentioned already so many times, we want to build a nation and we cannot go forward in Malaysia if we are not helping those who need support to come forward with us. Otherwise, there's a small group of Malaysians going forward and the rest of us are just left behind. And that's not the Malaysian that I want for myself or for my future children. So I guess that's all from me today. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Jean Tan, for sharing with us. It was truly informative, and you gave us a real picture of what it takes to be a social worker. So we know exactly what to expect, who we deal with, and what we need to know, what the skills that we need to have to be a social worker. So I do hope that this session has stirred a fire within each and every one of you to be part of nation building. And armed with the knowledge and inspiration gained here today, we definitely have the power to reshape our communities and uplift those who have been marginalized or faced adversity. So I would like to invite Amat Berbahagia Professor Datin Paduka Dr. Samsinar, accompanied by Mr. Iqbal Hakim, to give a token of appreciation to Ms. Jean Tan. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Ms. Bintan. Before we end, I would like to invite Mr. Iqbal Hakim, Program Director of Diploma in Social Work, for the closing remarks. Please welcome.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon to everyone. First and foremost, Yang Amat Bahagia, Prof. Datin Paduka Dr. Samsina, our Vice Chancellor here in Unirazak, Madam Jenny, my Dean, CDS, other Deans, Ms. Jean Tan, our esteemed speaker, and Mr. Ashraf, Director of Marketing, MC, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, respected NGOs and civil society members, other lecturers, Unirazak staff, and faculty members, parents, and of course, beloved students. Right. Basically, celebrating this significant milestone today is just not about unveiling a new program about diploma in social work, but it actually symbolizes our collective commitment towards a brighter and more compassionate future, especially in the field of social work. Right? We hope that graduates in the diploma program will become a pillar of new generation of social workers who will emerge as a support, especially to the vulnerables, to the marginalized, and to the voiceless. Right? We, as a whole, collectively acknowledge this responsibility to shape compassionate professionals who will serve as a beacon of hope in a world that often feels overwhelmed, inequality, and hardship, especially after the post-COVID-19. Right? Finally, I would like to thank all of the individuals who have contributed either officially or unofficially to making today a success. To everyone who has invited, to the students, to the schools, to the teachers as well. Right? I hope following the sharing session today, you will more or less have a deeper and more profound understanding of what social work is. You will have a better perspective on how to approach social work and how it is as a field. As we conclude this event, let us remember that social work as a profession is not just a profession, it's more like a calling, right? It is a commitment to uplift, to advocate, to empower for those who most need it. May this diploma in social work program ignite a passion and be the change that we wish to see in this world. So it is just not about like helping individuals, but it's about helping individuals the right way with the appropriate social work knowledge, values, and skills. And with that, I conclude my closing remarks for today. I sincerely thank you everyone for being here. All right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Iqbal. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, students, thank you for being such an incredible audience today. Since 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, you have been here. You have listened to all our program briefing. You have mingled with our students and played amazing games. Of course, you've had breakfast, you have interacted with us. What an exhilarating program it has been. We sincerely hope that you found this event not only enlightening but also engaging, leaving you with a wealth of new knowledge and perspective. A big thank you to our speaker for sharing her invaluable wisdom with us all. Okay. So, before we bid adieu, let's remember that this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to our new Diploma in Social Work program. There are countless more thrilling opportunities awaiting you on this journey. So we encourage you to dive deeper, explore further, and stay connected with us to know more. As we bring this event to a close, we want to express our deepest gratitude to each and your presence has made this gathering all the more vibrant and unforgettable. Remember, you're always here, ready to welcome you back with open arms. Okay, now, go forth and seize the day. May your enthusiasm and passion for social work continue to burn brightly. Thank you once again. But before we close, let's all have a group picture towards the front. Okay, so let's try to have one big group picture right now before we break for to go home.